Anti-Semitism used to mean somebody who didn't like Jews. Now it just means somebody Jews don't like.
Tucker Carlson absolutely destroys the ADL. Just a few seconds here is all you need. This clip tears into how the institutions weaponize anti-Semitism, while ordinary Americans just get villainized. We're calling out the elites. We're calling out the ones who twist the conversation to protect their own narratives. If you want real takes that won't pander to woke cancel culture, hit like and subscribe now. Join the base side that refuses to back down. All right, let's dive in.
This is from the Jerusalem Post Washington conference this weekend. The man speaking is a guy called Yehuda Kaplan, who I don't think I'd ever heard of before, but now apparently works at the State Department in the Office to Fight Anti-Semitism, which I guess is part of the State Department. And here's what he said. Watch this.
I get off a plane. I am the president's representative, and I am walking off with a yarmulke, and I have kosher food, and embassies will have kosher food. It is a game changer. The appointment is a game changer. And it's not about history. It's about education. And how do we educate? Indonesia has 350 million Muslims living in the country. How do we change their textbooks? How do we hold the people in Gaza accountable that if America is paying for UN textbooks and supposedly the changes are made, why are those textbooks not being used, and why are they using their old textbooks? We have to teach people it's not okay to educate your kids to be a martyr, okay? And we have to hold those countries accountable. How do we battle anti-Semitism on the internet? How are we doing better on algorithms? What companies can we work with? We are going to have a whole division within the office of the Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism that is going to work on technology and working with the greatest leaders in technology, many of whom are Jewish and have offered their assistance. The office is going to be revamped entirely to be one of the highest profile offices in the State Department.
Nothing will convince Indonesia to come our way, like sending Rabbi Yehuda is probably my
How do
guess.
we hold the people of Gaza accountable?
So
Yeah, okay.
there is truth to the claim that in the pedagogy that is administered in a lot of places, there's incitement. Maya the martyr is a character.
No doubt.
And that is awful, and U.S. taxpayers shouldn't fund it, and we ought to hold anyone accountable who does. At the same time, like the definition of anti-Semitism in recent times, according to some of the Israel First crowd in the United States, has really migrated. Like, this isn't my line, but I certainly associate it with. Anti-Semitism used to mean somebody who didn't like Jews. Now it just means somebody Jews don't like. And
that's not a standard that we can live with because the reason anti-Semitism is terrible, it's against my religion. I'm totally opposed to it. And by the way, it does result in violence. I think we just saw that, and I hate it. But anti-Semitism is wrong because hating anyone on the basis of their DNA is always wrong. It's a universal principle. It does not apply to one group, my group or your group. It applies to all groups. And if it doesn't apply to all groups, then it's not a principle, and I can just ignore it, right? So
but
that's the problem I have here.
Yeah, but the U.S. ambassador to France, Jared Kushner's father, says that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism weaponized is anti-Semitism mislabeled. From a faith's perspective, hating anyone for their DNA is always going to be wrong. That view rests alone on love, justice, our faith. This matters because relabeling any political disagreements as anti-Semitism muzzles any future debate. Does labeling political positions as anti-Semitism help honest discussion or harm honest discussion? Leave a respectful comment explaining how your faith helps influence your views.
And I don't believe that. I think that you can be critical of foreign policy choices that a country makes without the assumption that you hate the religion or the ethnic group associated with that country. Like when I was critical of Joe Biden, that didn't make me anti-Catholic. And when I'm critical of Benjamin Netanyahu, that doesn't make me anti-Semitic.
Well, I agree with that. And I do think there has been a rise, I can just notice it, in people hating Jews, disliking Jews, anti-Semitism. I think that's real in the United States. But I think you could probably fix that in a week.
How?
By getting Jewish groups like the ADL, like the American Jewish Congress, like whatever group Yehuda Kaplan runs, to come out against anti-white hate, which is institutionalized in the United States. And if you had the ADL and the SPLC and these groups that have fought against anti-Semitism for all these years, make the obvious and true point that hatred of anybody on the basis of how they're born is immoral, and we won't stand for it. And in the United States, the institutionalized hate is anti-white, of course, prevented from getting jobs, prevented from getting federal grants, prevented from getting admitted to college. That's still in place.
But you know why that hasn't happened.
I don't understand. You know what I don't understand?
Well, there
why.
isn't a sufficient monetization path there, the way it is when the ADL and similarly aligned groups try to make the American people think that anti-Semitism is hiding behind every bush.
Then I know it's not real. Okay, so if I get up, if I get up and say it's only wrong when people attack people like me, then everyone knows that I'm not defending a principle, I'm defending a group interest.
Right.
And I can ignore your group's interests. I cannot ignore a universal principle. And the universal principle is that kind of hatred is always wrong no matter who it's aimed at. So why doesn't the ADL stand up and do that? I would send money to the ADL if they did that. I would send money to the ADL. I would. And I despise the ADL because that would be a defense of what's true and so needed. Why won't they do that?
Well, when you're a witch hunter, you have to first convince people of the existence of witches. And so I think that for the broad goals of the ADL, they have to make the country believe that we are somehow aligned against the Jewish faith and against
But what they're saying is
goals.
it's okay to discriminate against white Christians, but it's immoral to discriminate against Jews? No, it's immoral to discriminate against Jews and white Christians and black people and Indonesians and every group on the basis of their DNA, period.
Well, there has to be a villain. And that's what white people have become in this really threat-constructed environment around identity.
Well, I've actually reached out to those groups and said, I will make common cause with you. I'll support you. I'll send you money if you will just defend the principle. And that would include defending.
No, you never heard these people during the DEI craze.
They didn't say one word. They were for it. They were for discriminating against whites because those kids who've been shafted by anti-white hate as institutionalized in every big company and every government agency in the whole United States and Western Europe, those people are mad. And where was Yehuda Levin during that? Where was Bill Ackman during that? And my point is, come over to the side of universal principles of light and truth, and let's make common cause against all forms of hate. And if you won't do that, then I'm not taking you seriously.
Yeah, and no one should take them seriously because they are an advocacy group for a particular ethnic group, and that is fine.
Well, how's that different from like Ilhan Omar and the Somalis?
Well, I think that in a lot of ways there are similarities when like ethno-nationalism is the objective, and obviously ethno-nationalism is the objective in Israel. It's the organizing principle. Of
That's
the,
fine. That's not our
country,
country, though. Yeah.
But oftentimes people are pursuing the policies here in the United States that benefit Israel and our own interests and the interests of our people. And the plight you described that so many young people have endured is not a priority.
White young people. That's why they're mad. Why do you think they're mad? Because they've been told that the country they were born in like officially discriminates against them. That's ongoing.
I don't think it's just even white people. I think it's also non-white people who see the attack on white culture not as an attack on like colonialism, but as an attack on success and progress and
That
order.
is so true.
I know a lot of non-white people that are like, actually, this anti-white activity that's going on is going to make me less prosperous and less safe. And I'm kind of here, like, for all the criticisms we as whites have taken, we did an okay job setting up an orderly world, and we made some mistakes along the way, and you've got to reconcile those. But at the end, what society would you replace with like what we've set up in the Western world? Is there some like vision of the way civilizations were built in Africa or the Far East that we would gleefully adopt?
So imagine moving here because it's a white country founded by white people, and getting here and being like, yeah, I want to be part of that, and which I get 100%. And then you get here and the first thing you learn is white people are bad.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that must be weird.
I think that this is shifting the other way. I really think during the excesses of the post George Floyd era, people attached so strongly to identity. And, I sense a real pushback against that. And like you talk about like learning it, right? The main place people learn still is in the school system. Right now, public education is essentially a failing enterprise, and all of the innovation is to take people out of that system, and then people will self-select what they learn, and that may be more productive.
We've got a new partner. It's a company called Cowboy Colostrum. It's a brand that is serious about actual health, and the product is designed to work with your body, not against your body. It is a pure and simple product, all natural. Unlike other brands, Cowboy Colostrum is never diluted. It always comes directly from American grass-fed cows. There's no filler, there's no junk. It's all good. It tastes good, believe it or not. So before you reach for more pills for every problem that pills can't solve, we recommend you give this product, Cowboy Colostrum, a try. It's got everything your body needs to heal and thrive. It's like the original superfood, loaded with nutrients, antibodies, proteins, help build a strong immune system, stronger hair, skin, and nails. I threw my wig away and right back to my natural hair after using this product. You just take a scoop of it every morning in your beverage, coffee, or a smoothie, and you will feel the difference every time. For a limited time, people who listen to our show get 25% off the entire order. So go to cowboycolostrum.com, use the code Tucker at checkout, 25% off when you use that code Tucker at cowboycolostrum.com. Remember, you heard it here first.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.
Now that's the kind of takedown you won't find on the evening news. If you think institutions like the ADL are being used to police free speech and rewrite who gets to be treated like a true American, make your voices heard now. Drop a comment with your take. Share this video so others can see it as well. Subscribe and ring the bell to stay on top of all of these conversations. We're building an American first community that refuses to be gaslit. Tell me what I should react to next. Stay loud in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.